Look who's here, making an excellent return to the program after an absence of a long time. This man's name is Bradley Tusk. He runs Tusk Ventures. He's the CEO thereof. Welcome back.
Hi, how are you?
I'm not bad at all. How are you?
I'm good.
I want your strategy for investing in these IPOs. You know, SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic. First of all, should everybody own a piece of at least one of them for a long-term? No?
No, absolutely not. Look, if it is totally logical to say everyone should have some sort of index fund, and if that captures those companies, sure, that makes sense. But I think what viewers need to understand is the perspective of a retail investor and the perspective of an early stage venture capitalist like me are two very different things, right? So for me, I'm investing in companies at the very beginning stages, solely betting on their potential. And if a company that I invest in at seed or Series A ever makes it to IPO, we did really well, kind of no matter what the economic fundamentals of the company are. But once a company goes public, then effectively you are betting on what they can do going forward based on the market's analysis of that company, and those are fundamentals like revenue, margins, EBITDA, cost. And when you're buying a company whose valuation or share price is totally misaligned with any of the fundamentals, why would you choose to take on that risk? You don't need to. I mean, SpaceX right now is valued at about $2 trillion. And so what are you missing out on if you don't do it, right? So like, let's say one day it gets to 4 trillion, okay, but you're taking all of the risk of a company at over 100x revenue multiple right now. Why? It doesn't make any sense. You can buy other things where you have far more opportunity. You can listen to Josh and do what he recommends. And then if there comes a point where the reality of SpaceX starts matching the potential and the promise and the narrative, great, go ahead and buy it. But to jump in right now is like the definition of a bubble.
Okay. I got some numbers. When it's Pothicus, what's the name of it? The
Anthropic?
Anthropic, thanks very much. I always forget the name. When Anthropic goes public, there'll be 7 instantly created billionaires, 50 centimillionaires, they're each worth over $100 million, 50 of them, 1,200 decamillionaires, worth tens of millions, 1,200 people, and 3,000 multimillionaires.
Yeah, that's great.
I think it's great, but there's going to be a political reaction to that.
Sure. I mean, look at the California billionaires tax. We'll see what happens. But ultimately, I was looking at this. So when Meta, then Facebook, went public, it was about a $100 billion valuation. OpenAI and Anthropic, you know, even if you don't think that either of them, like I do, would make sense to invest in at the IPO, are going to both be at roughly $1 trillion, 10 times that. So I believe that the state of California, just through its taxes on those people, took in something like $10 to $20 billion. So now multiply that by 10x for both of those things. All you're doing is begging those companies to move to Texas, to move to Florida. Like the surest way to get companies to not want to be in your state is to treat them like this. So look, I invest in founders at a pretty early stage, and 99.9% of them will not be, you know, trillion-dollar companies. 100% of them think they will. Right? And therefore, if you're a founder and you believe that, and you kind of have to have some of that irrational belief to be a tech founder in the first place, why would you want to be in a state where, and then here's the real tragedy of all of it. It's not just the rhetoric and sort of the emptiness of it. It's that ultimately, if you're California and you're an ultra progressive and you say that you care the most about helping those in need, you are reducing the amount of government revenue for food stamps, for Medicaid, for public housing. And so like, you're not doing something virtuous by driving jobs and tax revenue out of state. You're hurting the poorest among us.
Have I got 20 seconds? I've got 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Give me a 1 to 10 rating of Mandami as mayor of New York.
Substantively or politically? Politically a 9, substantively a 2.5.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. He has kept the police commissioner. She's great.
Yeah.
Everything else has been a disaster.
Do not be such a stranger to this show, Bradley.
I'm happy to come back anytime you want.
See you soon, Bradley.
Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you, sir.